Hello, this is John. All right, it looks like we have just a few more people waiting to sign in, so we'll start the meeting in a couple of minutes. Hi, everybody. This is John Hostetler. I just wanted to let you know that we're going to start the meeting in about 1 minute. We still have people that are signing in and calling in. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. We have quite a few people online. This is our bi-weekly community, EAC community meeting with really everybody invited, ground partners, investors, potential ground partners, and appreciate everybody coming on and participating. I think I don't know if Kevin is able to join us. He is traveling right now. Kevin, do you happen to be on the line? Probably not. I think he has probably found a flight to come back from Cincinnati. So anyway, so I'll go ahead and host the meeting. And again, this is John Hostetler. And I think what I'll start with is just the agenda as we have. Really what I've been working on for the past several weeks, and most of you know, is this big refinance of several of our properties with B2R. And that has proved to be challenging. It's a good thing, and we're gonna close within about 10 days from now. I think July 10th is actually our target date, and we may be able to close a little bit earlier. So for those investors who happen to be on the line who have properties that that are part of that package, you should have received payoff information or payoff requests for those loans. So let me know if that has not been the case, and I'll make sure that they follow up on that. I'm not sure if they've gotten those all completed yet, but it's part of the process, and really is with final underwriting with B2R right now. We just had our last property cleared this morning in terms of the title work that had to be done. We had an inspection that was pending with the City of South Bend on 1649 College, and that was recorded today, so that all lights are green as far as the refinance goes now. So we're just in the final stretch. So I'll continue to work on that. I also wanted to present in an outline form a land entitlement deal that that fell in our lap this past week. We were introduced to a developer, John Allen, from Joseph Smiley, one of the investors that we've worked with the past year or so. And John, I believe you're actually on the line, and so I was going to go through just a general outline, but if you can, maybe it might make sense for you to help me out a little bit, since you're obviously much more versed on the property. John, are you available?
Yes, I'm available.
Okay, fantastic. If you don't mind just going through just a brief description of what it is that is the project that we're looking at, and then I can talk a little bit about what we're offering.
Sure. Yeah, the property that I've been looking at for the past couple months is a potential 18-unit development in the College area on just south at the corner of 53rd Street and El Cajon. It's an infill development surrounded by multiple apartment complexes, affordable housing development, and it's zoned for apartments. We have the ability to build 18 units, and the purchase price of the property is $300,000. I spent about 2 months doing due diligence before we submitted an offer. We ended up submitting an offer, and then had to get back out of escrow due to another investor was unable to contribute what he said he could contribute financially. And so we had done all the due diligence and figured out the project already, and then we approached EAC about coming on as our financial partner to complete the purchase and move along with the escrow. I have basically everything required to start construction drawings. This development is going to be very simple to entitle. We already have the entitlements to build the 18 units. All we have to do is submit construction drawings and get the approvals. And our idea for this project, our exit strategy, is to flip it to another developer, another contractor or a builder who wants to take an entitled project and just go ahead and build it. With the financial analysis I put together, determined we'd be able to flip this thing for $950 easily, $950K, and that would leave over $1 million in equity for any builder who would go ahead and take it for $950 and build it out. They'd be able to build it over $1 million in equity into the project, giving them over $1 million of profit. And so it's my determination that we could easily sell it for $950. There's been a significant amount of interest. I've approached a number of land brokers and other developers that I've met throughout the past year or so doing affordable housing deals that have all expressed interest, and I've been told that they'll be submitting offers. I also have been approached by the person who owns the property to the north of the subject property, and he is an affordable housing developer, and he's interested in purchasing the ready-to-build project as well. And so I've garnered a significant amount of interest, which at this point, we're way ahead of the game already, as we are still in the process of securing the land in escrow. Now, we have submitted an offer, and the seller has countered with essentially the same terms. The seller just likes to write an addendum supplement to make sure that all the terms are clear, and all the terms that we submitted, she just countered back with those same terms essentially, which I'm not exactly sure why she does that. But regardless, all we have to do is sign the counter, and the property will be in escrow. It's a 15-day removal of contingencies and a 21-day close. The reason it's so fast is because we've already been in escrow for about 2 months, and I've done another month of due diligence before that. And so we have about three and a half months of work into this project already, and we've already determined that we can build what we want to build on this property. And so that's where the property stands now. It'd be other than the $300,000 to close the land, we'll need to hire a couple other professional services to complete the construction drawings. A civil engineer, which I have already received a bid for. Need to hire a structural engineer and a landscape architect to basically complete the rest of the construction drawings. We can handle the rest of the work. And so that'll take another approximately $50,000. And then plan check is $10,000. We submit the plan check. We compensate the city $10,000 for plan check. So we're looking at more or less an investment of $360,000. I have come to verbal agreement with EAC that we will forego any of our profits before we see any profit. EAC will receive 100% on their investment. So EAC would get their invested capital back, we would get our invested capital back, and then EAC would receive 100% return on investment before we see a dime. That's how confident I am in this project, that I know we can sell it for what we want to sell it for, and that what it's worth that I say it's worth. So that's where it stands, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. I don't know if, John, do you have any of the project information to put on the screen, or how would I go about if somebody wants to see some information? I guess I could just email it over.
Sure. Yes, I can do that. There are a lot of documents that we can show on this. Here is the executive summary in terms of the numbers. A little tough to see. I'll put it up here. And I just wanted to mention also that whenever we are approached for an investment where another investor has pulled out at the last minute, of course, it always gives us pause to thought as to why. And so as such, I happen to know that Kevin spoke to the investor who did pull out, and he confirmed that really it was just a personal finance issue where he had money tied up that he thought would be free by the time the escrow was to close, and it just did not. And that he fully believed in the project. It was just a matter that was not in his control. And so that was good to hear. In addition, Kevin spoke to 2 different brokers that gave opinions in terms of the marketability of this land when it's fully entitled, and the one actually has a buyer who is going through some due diligence right now and is, I believe, intending to put in an offer, and the other is a commercial broker that had an opinion that $950 might be a little on the aggressive side, but that he thought really, anything above $850 would garner many offers. And so, again, good to know that at least we're in the ballpark in terms of the marketability and the flip price that we're looking at. In terms of how we will handle this for our investors, what we are doing is we're offering this to our preferred investors who have actually set up LLCs with EAC. to this point, and those LLCs have a separate split of profits than we normally do. They're a little different in that the investor who sets up an LLC is essentially taking a little bit more risk on by sharing a higher percentage of the profits of any particular project. So it's it's sort of a give and take in terms of that. They are committing a certain amount of capital to our company to be available for investments, and as a return, we give them a higher profit share than typically we would do for other investors who are doing more ad hoc investments, and at the same time they take a higher share of the risk. And then a land entitlement deal like this for EAC is the first that we would be going into, so we are certainly trying to do our due diligence as well. And as John indicated, we have 15 days of inspection period prior to having to release contingencies on the earnest money deposit once we have this under contract. So really, that's how we're going to approach it. And I'm excited about the project. I think it's as long as we can get through this due diligence and check all the boxes that we need to, then it's a go, and we'll be interested in talking to people who want to invest in this. And certainly we have a lot of information to share that John has prepared in the last couple of months since looking at this. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, please let me know, or you can just speak up right now and ask John himself.
Hey, John, will you talk about Joe Smiley's email to us? Did you read that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
John
Joe's recent, most recent email?
That's correct.
Yes, let me see here.
That John.
Well, I'm not finding it. Let me see here.
I will summarize for you.
Yeah, please do, because I read it, but I cannot summarize it.
Yeah, Joe Smiley is a California, San Diego real estate agent who has done deals with us in Phoenix. We own a property within Phoenix, but Joe brought us this deal, and so he is sort of the middleman wholesaler. And I asked Joe to do some due diligence for us, and he actually walked the property, and he felt as though with his research of the market that the value of the property at the tail end of development of around $4 million plus is very accurate in terms of the rents, the cap rates, and so on. So Joe felt very strong about how John Allen's research, market research, is very much on target. So I just wanted to share that with everyone else as well.
Thank you, and I will mention that I have prepared a very detailed market study that can be made available that show applicable sales within that area. There's been 5 complexes in the last 6 months that were comparable that have sold, and most of them in the lower 4 cap range. One sold for an even 4 cap, which was the most comparable in my opinion. It was an equal unit count, and it had been recently renovated and was a 1980s build that had been put a lot of money into and redone. And so it was as close to new as you can get, and it sold for an even 4 cap with a lower net operating income, sold for like $4.2 million. And that was the most comparable that I saw. There were a couple others that were in the lower 4.2, 4.3 range. And I did a lot of market research on rental comparables in the area as well that sustain a significant rental income, rental market, very low vacancy rates. And frankly, I've been told by a number of brokers that my rents are considered to be very conservative for that area. So there's room to grow on that end as well. I like to consider these options from a conservative standpoint, and all my research has indicated to me that these are conservative numbers too. So keeping that in mind moving forward is always a good idea.
Okay, thank you, John. Well, if nobody has any questions on this, please do email me for a slew of documents, including that market study that John mentioned, and I can provide that to anybody who is interested.
Yes, as John Hosteler has said, we are going to offer this to our preferred investors, but if there's anyone else that wants to invest with us, please do contact us. We won't forbid anyone from investing, but please keep in mind this is an investment we're going to offer without any corporate guarantee. So the risk of the investment will be borne by the investor partner from our EAC community. But we'd be happy to answer any questions and work with anybody that wants to invest in this project. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have from me. Olga, you on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody. I wanted to update. I'm working actively on implementing a portfolio. It turns out to be there are a lot of moving parts here, so we're trying to stay on schedule. We have all the data migration is in this week, and we're working on the rest of the setup. There's bank accounts and all the different financial balances that need to be set up. I have also sent out information for all our property managers and ground partners with information for a practice website. So you can create your own ID and log in and look around, start getting familiar with the way it works. I'm also going to be setting up all the profiles and permissions for everybody this week and sending out information on that. One thing that I found in working on this is that we have different work processes in different markets, and as we get everybody on a folio, the goal is to unify as much as possible and make it uniform so that we don't have any kind of legal issues. That's pretty much it for me.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm on the line, John, also, just so you know.
Okay, thank you, Lou. All right, we'll go to Isaac.
Yep, thanks, John. I was actually, I gave a quick update, but we've had a more recent update happen. And actually on the line, per Kevin's request, is Brittany Moreland, and she's a ground partner in the Massachusetts area. And she has a flip that we are looking into on 5 Grandview Terrace. Brittany, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. If you guys wouldn't mind, we're going to go ahead and let Brittany kind of just give us the rundown on this project, and then open it up for any questions. Go ahead, Brittany, take it away.
Okay, so the property currently has an offer on it for $45,000, but it's a short sale, so we're waiting to see if the bank will accept that. It needs the kitchen, needs updating throughout. Not too much work, probably somewhere in the $50,000 to $70,000 range, 70 on the high end for the unseen, and would sell about $179,000 afterwards. So somewhere around $31,000 or $34,000 profit after closing, holding fees, and all that. A pretty basic flip. Not really sure what else to say. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. And sorry, this is my first time ever presenting a deal on this. So I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, sure. And Brittany, would you mind giving us a quick background on what you do in the area and how you kind of got into this deal and found it?
Sure. I'm a realtor in the area. This is actually one of my listings I had on the market last fall. There were 2 offers at that time, but the buyers were both going to be living there and they wanted to close faster. So I contacted the seller not too long ago to see if he still wanted to sell, and he did, so we put the offer on them. Anything else you want to know about that? Or?
So, Brittany, this is John Hostetler. I have a question in terms of the construction rehab budget that you've put together on this. Is this something that you bid out to independent contractors or general contractors that you know in the area?
I have a contractor that I work with, mainly my top guy that I'm interested in working with. He used to work for an insurance company, so he's really great at keeping on a budget. He's discussed the property, he's reviewed it, he's looked at the pictures of everything. He hasn't been out there yet, but I do have lots of pictures of every room. So he's done that, and he said he can definitely keep it within the $70,000 range, and that's if there was issues with electrical, if anything with the foundation needed to be fixed, which it appears to be fine. So he has not been out there yet. We're waiting to see if the bank would accept it, basically, before I have him go out there.
Okay, and what is the rehab budget on it?
I put it in to you guys as $70,000, but I think it would be more around $50,000. I prefer to estimate high and get you more of a return than estimate low and get you less of a return.
Okay, and when was the house built?
The house was built in 1955.
Okay. So there's a good chance that there will be some systems work that will have to be done. It should be a very extensive rehab, I would think, if it's a home of that age.
Yeah, in the rehab cost, replacing the heating systems in there, electrical if it was needed, roof, siding.
Good. What can I do for you?
I couldn't hear that, sorry.
Okay, very good. Anybody who's not actively talking, if you could just remember to mute your phone, I would appreciate it.
Brittany, and this is Olga. I wanted to ask about the ARV. Did you say it was 179?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay, so is it based on completely renovated properties in the area?
It's based on kind of a combination of both, some that needed work, some that were recently renovated, and factor all of the differences in there.
Okay, and we don't have it under contract, is my understanding, or the seller had accepted, but the bank hasn't accepted?
Correct. It is a short sale, so we're still in negotiations with the bank.
Okay. And if the bank accepts, how long do we have to perform?
60 to 90 days is what the bank has given me. They're aiming for 60, but it could take longer.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions on the property from anyone?
So, Brittany, this is Kevin. So if you'll let us know as soon as the bank makes a move, and we'll take a look at it more closely. But it sounds like there's a deal in here somewhere. Once the bank accepts, I think the scope of work from your contractor is going to be very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, yeah, as soon as the bank accepts, I'll be getting out there with my contractor just to go over and get more detailed figures.
Okay, and on a short sale in your area, have you had any experience with the particular bank that you're working with? Because we've had a couple of short sales in the past that have gone just a whole lot longer than we had anticipated. Do you have an idea of how long you anticipate it taking to close?
What they told me recently is that they're just waiting for the purchase and sales, which is being worked on right now in the HUD-1. Once they have that, they'll get an answer for us within 2 weeks, and then are aiming to close 60 days after that. This is what the bank has informed me. That's their timeline that they want to do.
Okay. All right. So either way, we have some time on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, still have time on it.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So other than that, that's pretty much the development as far as, my updates go.
All right. Thank you, Isaac. How about you, Wilson? You look like you have quite a bit to go over here. Oh, it looks like Wilson might not be able to join us for a little while. So I think we'll go over him and go see if Chad is on the line.
Yeah, I'm here. And I see that my updates didn't make it for some reason, which is strange because I put them in last night and they were there. Probably because Bill had so many things, he bumped me off the list. I don't know.
Maybe so.
What did all that have? I didn't have all that much other than say that all the properties have finally closed with DeVore, the 3 that we had in Cleveland. Actually, I don't know if I told you, John, but the Libby just closed this morning. There was a bit of a hiccup. I know it was funded a few days ago, but the funds were held in escrow. There was a certificate missing from the city, but they finally got it this morning. And the property with Frank Valise, I don't know if he's on the line, it closed last week as well, the Avenue L in Orlando or Kissimmee. So they're starting rehab on that. We funded part of the rehab already, I think it was last week. So they're going like gangbusters. They're going to have it done in 2 to 3 weeks, which is good. Other than that, there's not a heck of a lot of other updates I have. Nathan Turner, the guy, the note guy, we, Doctor, you and I went over the joint venture agreement earlier today and have a few tweaks, and we're going to get that signed off. And he just sent me a note, or Nathan just sent me an email earlier today that he's got a whole new list of properties and notes to start picking through. So hopefully we can grab a few out of that and make some profitable returns from it. So I think that's all I have.
All right, Chad, thank you. Yeah, I'm interested. I think we're all interested in hearing more about the note program and see what that looks like and how we might participate in that. So we'll be looking forward to more information and maybe looking at some hard numbers on some actual notes.
Yeah, I'm hoping by maybe next week we'll have maybe a couple examples we can float out, see if they're worth buying. So.
All right, sounds great. Okay, so Lou, you're on the line, I believe, and I appreciate you stepping away from all the construction and coming in to give us a little update on what's going on in Jacksonville area.
Well, right now we've got 11 units rented with a gross rent roll of $9,375. We rented 2 more buildings, which will give us another $2,000 a month. 1106 River Street is rented for $1,150. Target's rented for $850. They won't start till August 1st. And we closed on another one today, and dumpsters being delivered tomorrow morning. So people will be there gutting that. And that's about it right now, what we got going on. We have a flip coming up later in the month that we're purchasing. We've got everything we have just about rented, other than, I believe, 2 houses, so 2 or 3. 3, actually.
Okay. So 1106 River, I believe that was the one that originally we had intended to flip, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And it happened that
we're still getting a good return on it, though.
Right. Right. I think really what Lou has found is the HUD office in the area has really been asking Lou for more and more homes because he has been providing our homes to the Section 8 tenants, and both the tenants and the office themselves love the homes and really want more and more and more. So it happened that on 1106 River, the rent that we're going to be getting on that, which I believe is $11.50, is
yes.
that right, Lou?
Yeah, it's under contract for $11.50.
Right. It just supports the numbers well enough, really quite well for a rental. And so we decided to go ahead and make that a rental instead. So anyway, so, with another home closing today, I think that's 426 Nelson. I actually have to get a proposal out for that. So that is something that I will get out to everybody in terms of funding that deal. And again, because we have 18 homes that are going to be refinanced within the next 10 days or so, there will be a lot of investor money coming back. And so I'm going to get out a schedule to everybody who is is funding homes that are within that refinance, to just give you an idea of what's coming back and when to expect it, and from there hopefully we can redeploy some of that money quickly in some of the deals that are coming up soon. Anybody have any questions for Lou? Okay. How about Anthony? You on the line?
Yes, I am. Am I done, John?
Yes, Lou, you are. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Go ahead, Anthony.
All right. Well, as of tomorrow, I will officially have 11 single-family units that are all rented under management with my LLC, basically taken over from our prior PMs. And with everything we have rented, the total gross income from 11 units is currently at $6,675 a month. And I have I have currently 3 under rehab. There's one 1218 Byron that's actually done. We're just looking for the right tenant to get into it. We had a tenant that had already actually put money down on it, but then their voucher was reduced. It was a Section 8 tenant. So we had to backtrack and try to get some of the other people that were interested in it. And since it had been a couple of weeks, some of them had already found other units, but we are right in the middle of showings. And as soon as we have that one rented, which it should be probably by the end of this week, will be close to $8,000 in income. And Dennis, that we closed on last week on Monday, we are currently tearing that down and are going through rehab. That one we already have a tenant, which would add another $1,250. So I'll be right almost at close to where Lou is at. If I add everything up, it's 66 currently, $1,250. I'll be at about $9,200 a month, probably within the next 4 weeks or so. And the biggest of those is the fourplex. We're finally making progress. The whole lower level has been framed out. It turned out just perfect. We have 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths in each unit. And initially we were thinking of putting a laundry room in the basement with coin-operated units. But that posed a challenge with, because we're going to rent this one out to senior citizens. We had to close off one entrance to the basement from the interior of the building. So the whole idea of having seniors walk out with their laundry and in the snow, go down, it just wasn't working. So we decided to put the laundry units in each particular apartment. And that worked out. So we're currently putting in the mechanicals, electrical specifically in the lower unit. and we're framing the upper level unit this week. And kind of the same work is going on with the duplex that's on the same block. So that's kind of covers everything up. I'm just shuffling a lot of paper, trying to get all the changeovers done in time and as smoothly as possible. So unless anyone has any questions, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, Anthony, thank you. Appreciate it. How about Frank Belize? You on the line? Sounds like Frank is not on the line. You can see his update here, and it's on the website, of course. Emma Street is all finished, and so we are just currently in the process of renting that out. And Avenue L just closed, and we started the rehab. I think he means June 21st here, not July. I certainly hope so. I'm confident of that. So that, as Chad had indicated, will be done within 2 to 3 weeks and be actively renting that one out as well. I'm not sure if Giovanni was able to join us today.
I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. Gio, why don't you give us an update on what's going on with you?
Yeah, same like last night. I updated my updates. Not sure why it didn't populate on there, but I'm not sure what happened there, but I'll go through them. So one of my projects, Calle Medio, which is out of El Cajon, we're down in the home stretch. We did run into a little snag over the weekend. The HOA wanted us to send the specs for the windows and the sliders that we're installing, and they wanted me to get signatures from the neighbors in the adjoining units. So submitted all that stuff, waiting for the blessing from the HOA to give us the go-ahead to finish installing that. Pretty much just installing carpet, waiting for the appliances to arrive, and we're almost on the home stretch there, put this thing back together. Meeting with the stager this week to coordinate the date and time when they're going to be staging. Still trying to shoot for an open house for next weekend. Trying to rush a couple of things here and there. Hopefully we can still make that, but we're pretty much at the finish line with that project. The next project is one we just closed on last week, 4748 College Avenue near San Diego State. That project we closed on Wednesday, Thursday of last week. We started demo on Monday. They're in the process of taking things apart. Was over there this morning meeting with the architect. We are going to work within the footprint of the house and convert this large den into an additional bedroom to maximize the rental income for a potential buyer in that area, since it's so close to San Diego State and it's a high rental area. The process for the permitting should be over the counter, where we don't expect any issues or delays there. So the architect is going to go and measure, draw plans this week, submit them, and hopefully we'll have them by next week so our contractor could start framing and moving forward with that. As far as the scope for this project, contractor is shooting for about 5 to 6 weeks. So far so good. Obviously it's our first week, and this is a new contractor that I'm trying out. Highly recommended. I checked out his work, checked out references. So far so good. We'll keep updating as we go along. One other project that I'm talking to John Hustler about, it's another project we're trying to raise capital for. It's a short sale project, easy cosmetic, probably one of the easiest projects I've ever done. Literally about $10,000 in repairs, and that's because a couple of the appliances don't work, and we'll probably have to replace them. But other than that, it's in pretty pristine shape. It was a short sale situation, but more details to come on that once we find some financing for it. Any questions?
So when we do these kinds of things, Giovanni, please tell us how much we raised for the home that you're going to put on the market soon. Tell us what kind of returns we plan to give to our investors. And then let us know how much we just funded for the recent project you just bought.
Sure. So the agreement we have with EAC right now, it's we're paying out a 24% annualized return for gap funding on these projects. I do work with a local hard money lender on the primary part of the lending for the project. But with EAC, we're, for example, the last project we just closed on, it was a total of $120,000. Like I said, to a 24% annualized return on that. And the next project we're trying to raise capital for to close on here pretty soon, the amount of that is going to be approximately 110. Any other questions?
Okay, Giovanni, thank you. I'm going to, on Escala, which is the very latest project that we're raising funds for right now. I will get something out to everybody today on that one. I believe I have your latest information that I need, and I had presented that to one person who had specifically asked for it, and now I'm going to send it out to the entire community, and we will see what kind of response we get.
Yeah, I'll add to that one. The reason we got it at such a good price and quick close, given that it is a short sale, which you guys experience can take a long time. We definitely did say that we could close fairly quickly, so there is a little bit of an urgency there. So, but please feel free to contact me. I have pictures of what it looks like right now, and you'll see it's one of the easiest projects we'll ever do. So thanks for that, John.
Okay, great. Thank you, Giovanni. George Flint, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just quick update on Muirlands.
Yeah, Muirlands. We closed on that deal last week on Wednesday, so that hurdle's taken care of, and we actually are on our drawings. We're going to start construction drawings this week. We have the conceptual floor plan about 85% dialed in. Just some modifications that we want to do on the second floor layout. The first floor has been approved, and we're going to go ahead and just keep moving through design stage, and we should have construction documents, first version of those out in about 2.5 to 3 weeks, and on a timeline basis, we're pretty much on schedule. And the project's moving forward smoothly, and so far, and that's about the update of where we are on that.
All right, George. So when you have the drawings finished, at what point after that do you actually break ground and move forward?
Yeah, so we got once we have the construction documents done, we'll submit it to the city, and then hopefully, they'll just accept them as they are, and they don't have any comments on it, but if they do, then we go back and forth. But we're shooting the break ground on this. Hold on, I have to pull up the timelines. I don't have it memorized. Just a second. Okay, so we're looking to break ground, pull the permits first week of October. And so our goal is to start breaking ground on the week of October 8th, where we will be demoing, and that's what we're looking at a timeline right now. That's taking into account, according to our timeline, that the city comes back to us with 2 revisions. Hopefully we only have one, and we can, shave off a few weeks there, but just, on our timeline is underwriting it conservatively.
All right, great. And then can you just give a brief update as to Muirlands 1, the other project that you're doing right down the street?
Yeah, Muirlands 1, we're getting down to sealing up the house from exterior exposures, and that is allowing us to get to the finishes on the project here soon. And then while we're doing the finishes on there, we're going to start doing the hardscape and landscape on the exterior of the house. Still targeting to pre-market the house in about 2 weeks, in mid-July to pre-market, and then have officially put it on the market early August, with the completion finishing the house up, button up early August. And that's what we're looking at right now. Things are going pretty smooth there. We learned a lot of tricks of the trade, if you would, from there. One of the mistakes we made on Muirlands 1 was we decided to excavate some of the dirt on what would be the northwest of the house, so that we can put basically a media room. And that was just a mistake because it set us behind schedule, because excavating to us twice as hard and just a big pain in the butt. And so on Muirlands 2, we're not doing any kind of excavating, and that's why we're redoing the floor plan on the second house, because when we had our survey topo done, it came to evidence that we would have to excavate some of the dirt, and what we're doing is we're moving things around so we can avoid excavating, and we don't have to have that issue.
Okay, I appreciate that. Again, looking forward to going out and taking a look at that house when it's all buttoned up. That'll be fun.
Definitely. Yeah, when one of those ones is done, I definitely encourage you guys, anybody come and, we can set up a time to tour the house, and then after that tour, Merlin's too, because they're literally 2 doors down, and get that, so you guys get a feel for, this is what we have done, and then what we're going to do with this one.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, well, I think that is it for the updates this week. If anybody has any questions, we'll just open it up to questions for anybody who's online who hasn't spoken up to this point.
John, I have a comment to make.
Sure.
This is for Chad, but for everybody. When a property is rented out, like Emma in Florida, we have to go back to the pro forma, and then we have to put a separate tab on the worksheet called the actual, and we have to update that information so we can analyze, study, and understand how our property is performing. So Chad and Frank, if you guys could go through that exercise, but Lou and Anthony and everyone else, we need to do that, because otherwise we won't learn from our pro forma spreadsheets, and we won't learn from our successes and failures. So let's make sure we do that exercise.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the question I emailed the other day, or last night, I guess it was.
Right,
okay.
exactly.
So
we will definitely do that, because as we've really only been acquiring rentals for about a year, at the pace that we've been at in this past year. So really quickly, and so we need to make sure that those things are, the performers are actually manifesting themselves in something that is close to what we expect, and all the evaluation of the budgets in terms of the rehabs, and then obviously the rents that are coming in, and then the ongoing expenses is obviously critical to our long-term success. Okay, anybody else have any questions? All right, well, I thank you for joining us. Again, we will be back with the community meeting in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, I hope everybody has a fantastic 4th of July, a nice long weekend. And again, on any of these things that we've discussed, please feel free to email, call, and we will try to get you the information that you need to either invest or updates on projects that we have going on. So again, thank you very much for joining us.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you, John.